All right, well, Old Mutual has named a new new chief executive, or the former acting chief executive, that Iain Williamson, as its permanent head. Williamson has been acting, of course, in the position since the insurer suspended and later fired its former head, Peter Moyo, in 2019. Let's get to chat now to Iain Williamson. Thank you so much for the time, and a big congratulations to you, Iain. Was it a little bit difficult, perhaps, taking over under the cloud that position and that seat sort of had not so long ago?
Yeah, thanks, Arabile, and thanks for having me on your show. The last year has obviously been a pretty challenging one, both from the perspective of what was playing out as far as the process went when Peter Moyo was suspended, and also obviously with what's happening in South Africa and globally with the COVID crisis doesn't make things any easier for business at large.
Yeah, in taking on the business at large as it currently stands, I mean, you're well versed in the operations of the business and have been for quite some time. Where to from here? Where does Old Mutual strategically plan to go? I mean, the relisting, so to speak, as well, has been its massive issue on its own outside of COVID-19, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But where to from here for Old Mutual, do you believe?
Yeah, I think it's a period of stabilization for a short while now, particularly, as I said, the COVID crisis has had a huge impact on our customers across the African continent. I don't think we're not planning to fundamentally change our geographic footprint. And it's really about focusing on making sure that in this world that we now live in, that we have a model that makes sense for our customers, that allows us to deliver products and services that they really need and want, and to grow the business that way. We've done quite a lot of work over the last year on our strategy, and in fact we are talking to our board about that later this week, and after that we will likely announce to the market what we're doing there.
Are you worried at all at the impact that COVID-19 will make and dent really with regards to not just profits but operating conditions? Are you gearing the business to be a little bit more, shall we say, tech savvy?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things we have been on a journey with for the last year or so is absolutely accelerating the digitalization of our business. If anything, this latest set of environment we find ourselves in is accelerating that even further. And actually, I think we've almost surprised ourselves in the last 3 to 4 months by how quickly we've been able to get certain things done in terms of enhancing our digital offering.
Is the Peter Moyo saga over? And I only ask this really just with regards to him perhaps coming out and having said that not necessarily, and he may still continue to fight this. Do you feel that fight is finally over and this is a new dawn for Old Mutual?
I think the court was quite clear and around the board's right to make the appointment. And I think that process has been through appeals up to a request to the Supreme Court for appeal. So I think that aspect is likely over. There are some other matters where Peter and his legal advisors may choose to pursue further action, but I don't think in their nature, they're not the kind of things that will distract us from a corporate progress perspective.
What happens with the relationship then with NMT Capital? Do you plan to keep that relationship going as Old Mutual?
No, we are reviewing that. There's a process underway in terms of a discussion about how we take that forward, but it's not concluded.
All right. Iain, you also managed, unfortunately, to not get as many insurance products sold, particularly over the last couple of months or so, for the 6 months to June. Of course, that is based a lot more on COVID-19, but a lot of your work does rely on interfacing with customers in person. How does that change now? How do you get better at it?
Yeah, so what we've done is we've equipped all of our financial advisors across all of our retail businesses. So we have 3 retail businesses focusing on different parts of the market. We've equipped all of them with the necessary technology to be able to interact with customers through, video conference, telephone call, etc., and to process all the necessary applications and what have you using technology. The challenge remains that certain customers prefer not to interact that way, and in particular in our retail mass market business, where historically we've relied for a large portion of our new business on a worksite marketing model. Obviously, with businesses literally not being open in April and in some parts of May, worksites weren't available to those advisors. So that was a very challenging period. We have seen an improving trend as things have started to progress through the lockdowns. But having said that, I think it has made us, really aware of exactly what you're talking about. We are very dependent on a face-to-face interaction with the customer, and diversifying our distribution options is something that is really important, and we're working on it.
Sure. Very quickly, yes, so you've announced that profits could be lower by at least 20% for the 6 months to the end of June. What does that say then with regards to job security? Are there any job cuts in the offing?
No, not at this stage. We've been very clear with our staff that that's not currently on the table.
Fantastic. Iain, all the best. Really hope to chat to you again as the results come out and continue to look back at the year that was and into the future then as well. Congratulations again. Iain Williamson is the CEO of Old Mutual then, of course, having taken over then from the previous CEO, that Peter Moyo, and the embroilment that the company had for quite some time, unfortunately. But a stance nonetheless, where the company has now put in a permanent head of that company.